Israel. I am here. We're doing there you go. You can see me a little bit. It's kind of a little dark out because there's clouds and stuff. So that's why um, normally the sun's out this early. But if it's cloudy, it's going to be kind of seem dark. But anyway, got a good show for you here. What we're talking about is being led by spirit or being led by emotions. Um, are you being led by, here's another way of saying that, are you being led by righteousness or are you being led by feelings and emotions? And, you hear me talk about emotions a lot. And I like to clarify because I'm not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be emotional or to have emotions that you got to be walking around here like you're the Terminator or something like that. We're not coming at this or tackling this in that way. What I'm saying is, what I see is a lot of people are being led by emotions and not by the word. So when their emotions, their strong emotions, um, what their emotions are conveying to them, their thoughts, feelings, emotions, what they're conveying to them in certain situations, um, when it does, excuse me, when it goes against what the word says, they find a way to justify their emotions and go against the word, and it's a problem. And I'm gonna really show y'all something when it comes to the word, because what you'll see is when somebody is led by their emotions, a lot of people, they will find a way to justify it in the Bible. But in order to justify their moves and their actions with the Bible, they end up doing something. And what's that something they end up doing? They end up literally sounding just like, in order to justify it, you're going to end up literally teaching and preaching the Greco-Roman Catholic Christian doctrine. Straight up. Because that's the only way you can take, what you'll end up doing is taking Bible verses and stuff out of context, and it'll end up, you know, anybody can do that and justify any move they make if you do that. But if you have a complete contextual understanding of what this whole word is about, you're not going to be able to do it, and you'll be able to spot these people in a second. um what I put here is, understand that the word is a book about a culture, about a nation, not a religious book in the sense of the way the Catholic Church or the Catholic religion or the Christian religion or some of these other so-called religions, how they spin the book and present it to you, is not what it is. It's a book about a culture. And when I say a book about a culture or a cultural book, it tells a people's history. It tells how a nation of people lived. It shows how they departed from the way they lived to live like other nations, and it even has prophecy in it about what's to come. It shows their psychology, their spirituality, everything is in that word. And that's what the word is. That's what that book is. Now, people take it and twist it to mean other things, according to whatever their agenda might be. But at the end of the day, hey, that's what it is. And it's a book. Uh, it's a book very specifically about a certain group of people, and it even tells about the condition they're in now, tells them how to come out of that condition, and it's written to a specific people. Okay. um so what one of the things that's in the word is, about us, it actually says in the word, and I talk about this all the time. um it talks about you about gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Again, it's about a nation, a race, a group of people. And you know uh, our people, like me, when I came into this thing, I can remember way back in the 80s when I was real young, in the early 80s, and seeing this Martin Luther King book on my mother's bookshelf. Is a bookshelf that was near my room, and my brother and my mother explaining to me our condition as a people. And you're just sitting there like, why? And they did all that in the 60s and the 70s, all that stuff happened. And then as the years went on, and I eventually I saw, I forget what that movie, Roots. I saw Roots, and I was like, wow, that's our history. And then you get a little older, you see the news, you see the condition of our people now. And I began, the older I got, the more I realized, man, what is up with our people? And then got even older, and eventually coming into this truth and making the whole connection of the condition of our people. And still, even still, and this is coming into the knowledge that, hey, we're the people of the book. And then realizing, then, then even then realizing that, you know these like, still not making the connection of our condition, except, hey, we're punished, this, that, and other. But then reading deeper in the book and coming to the realization, like, God's curses came upon us because of our actions. Like, or you say the other way, because of our actions, God's curses are upon us. And even still, fully making the connection, our actions resulted in our condition, literally. Not magically, not in some luck type of way or unlucky type of way, but literally, it the it's cause and effect. If you do this, you're gonna get that. And you can, when you begin to analyze and look at our people, you see it. You see it in us. You see, hey, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to get into that a little bit. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, we're going to get a little bit granular with that. Um, you know, I watched, I don't know if it was Nick Saban or Nick Saban, I'm not sure how you pronounce the name, or it was another coach. It was a Duke coach, not Krzyzewski, but some other one. But anyway, one of them, they said this. They said, you have to respect the principles and the values of the team. I was like, man, that's good. You know, and I would even move as far to say is, you have to align your principles and values with the team. Like, you have to get your thoughts, feelings, and emotions in alignment with the team. You got to be for the team. And what happened in situations that I've seen, that that I've experienced, been a part of, you know what I'm saying? In my assembly here, and I see it other places, man. You you know, everybody, people will talk a good game. Um, but again, it's like that Bible verse: a friend is known in adversity, or a friend will make himself known in adversity. And it also says the enemy will make himself known in adversity too, in times of trouble. Like you're gonna really know who's who, what's what. You're gonna be able to see in the difficult, stressful situations. You're gonna be able to see who's who, what's what, how they rocking. Um, so being led by emotions. I talk about the vision in Israel. I'm gonna give you another good example of the deception of this culture, and we're going to talk about marriage now. And it points to how this culture, how deceptive and demonic that this culture is. uh in marriage, we've been brainwashed that the whole, like, marriage is all about, the whole thing about marriage, or the whole focus on marriage, is feelings, romance. You know what I'm saying? Like when marriage is sold to you, they push it. This culture, when I say this culture, I'm talking about this Greco-Roman American beast system that we live under. Uh, the way they paint marriage is as a romance thing, mainly like 90% or more romance. But the reality is, and when I say romance, Roman ants, you know what I'm saying? Romance. But when I say romance, I'm talking about how do you feel? You know what I'm saying? And they target Eve. Satan comes for the woman. Satan comes after the weaker vessel with this, man. Well, how do you feel about him? How do you feel? What are your feelings? What are your feelings saying? And people are getting divorced and breaking up houses over feelings. But a large component of marriage is economics. Again, if you look in our cultural book, the Bible, the Word, a lot of it is, of a big chunk of marriage is economics. And economics for the generations to come. So what they do in this nation is they put a lot of weight on how people are feeling, and they convince them to uh get a divorce. And unbeknownst to them, because this is all that's getting pushed on them, people will end up breaking up their house. They end up messing things up for the generations to come over feelings, and not educating people on how important marriage is for a legacy. Marriage is the building block of a nation. Um, One of the jobs we're doing right now is for an Indian family. They're from India, and I actually talked to the father. Now, the work we're doing and the house they're having built is for the son. This is a multi-million-dollar house. This house is probably like 30-40 million dollars, and we're wiring up for data cabling. But the thing is the son is going to have his father, his mother and father are going to live there. His family's going to live there. His sons and their family is going to be living in there. Like multiple generations are going to be living there. And, the father, he came by the house. The older, he's much older, and he was telling me how his father told him, you have to keep the family together. Everything hinges on that. Here they are, a generation later, or a couple generations later, he's kept the family together. They own hotels as a family. Like the son owns a couple, his son owns some. You know what I'm saying? They stuck together. Our people don't understand the importance of sticking together, even on an economic level. It's as soon as I feel this way, I don't like that. F it, and let's throw it all to the trash, and let's split it up. This is the same way we are when it comes to marriages. I'm upset. I don't like it. Let's tear it up, bro. But and nobody's educating our people on the way out of everything that you hate. The way out of all the oppression you're under. The way out of like what you see in America, our people living in the hood, all this, the condition of our people in this nation is because we can't get along. Literally, this is why it tells you gather yourselves together, O nation, not desire. Like you gotta, if you read the Bible from a Hebraic perspective, it's clear. Just follow Israel through that Bible, and you will see the division among us. Like our people, one of the things we are talented at is tearing shit up. Like we know how to find a reason to not be united, to not get along. I have witnessed it firsthand. Um, be, being in this assembly, we got a group of brothers and sisters who respect the principles and the values of the assembly and the vision of the assembly we have here. We have that. But we see all the time people who come in and they are absolutely clueless about nation and culture and sticking together. Like, again, they've been poisoned by the Greco-Roman beast system, and that ideology of division. And unbeknownst to them, and this is the deceptive part of this culture, this nation we live in, what they do, they brainwash people into thinking, oh, this is the agenda of their brainwashing, to get you to serve them, to get you to work for them, to get you to be a part of their culture, their neighborhoods, their system. When the word tells you to come out from among them, be ye separate. You know what I'm saying? Gather yourselves together, O nation, not desire. Why? Because when you send your children to their schools, when you feed your people, your family with their doctrine, what's their doctrine? How do you feed your family with this Greco-Roman beast system's doctrine? By setting them in front of the media and just letting them watch their, what they call it, mainstream programming. A lot of people will not regulate what is, a lot of men won't regulate what's going in to their wives, to their children's, what's going in to their ear gate and their eye gate. They won't regulate the environment that their wives and their children are in. They, you know what I'm saying? They'll let them go to their public schools. Okay, they will have their wives out there working at their businesses. They will let them drink and consume their content, their media. You see what I'm saying? And when you do that, you're taking in their doctrine. Their doctrine is be separate, be happy. You know, if your feelings ain't right, if you don't feel good about this, leave it. You know what I'm saying? When our culture is different, man. The word says different. So these are some things. I'm not gonna go all the way down that road of on that aspect, but this is how that ideology gets in our people. That ideology to stay divided gets into our people, where soon as a problem, because I be saying this, man. Everybody holy and righteous until trial comes, until it's time to get in the furnace of affliction. Then you see the true them come out. A lot of our people, they just start behaving like straight inwards, straight up. They go straight in the inward mode, and that's how they begin. That's how they begin to act, react. That's how they move. That's how they begin to operate in a spirit of division. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking the meek, humble route, instead of really, truly loving your brother and being meek, I think if I haven't, I got a show coming up on like true meekness and humility, what that looks like. Where, hey, I'm gonna do. Look, maybe this didn't go right, but I'm gonna do what's good for all these people. You know what I'm saying? That type mindset. But let's see. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna think about my brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? If you want to look at that on a more micro level, you can look at marriages where people be willing to tear up these marriages, even though they know the children gonna be jacked up. And that's something I could say about my mother. She was in a position where she could have torn that house up if she wanted to, but she didn't. She hung in there. She she let us get older to be the men we needed to be, and then she did what she did. You see what I'm saying? People don't think like that no more. All right, let's see. Being so what I talked about is being patient when you are reduced to a lower state. Okay. Being about the team. We talked about that. Putting the team first and dealing with your emotions. Oh, we might have to park it here. Instead of creatively justifying your emotions. And look, don't get it twisted. I get it, man. I know how I know what it can feel like when folks is doing you wrong, taking advantage of you, everything like that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got you on that. But the word is very clear on these things. You know what I'm saying? On how we need to be moving. And I did a video. I just did that video. At least I think I did. I did a video on anger and stuff like that. Um, and I did a video building off Elder Rod's video about, hey, if somebody do you wrong, let y'all deal with them. Y'all get them. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. That's book. That's simple book. That ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. You really can't put no jelly on that and twist that up. You see what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we need to be pushing edifying word forward that's going to build people up spiritually, especially in this dead season. It's critical. And this is a unique dead season where it's imperative that sound word be coming forth to help brothers and sisters in whatever area that they need spiritual growth and development, or where Satan is warring at them in and trying to attack them in. Okay. Self blindness being, let me see what I put here. I don't even know what I wrote. Okay. So this is going back to what I was getting on, is now we're getting back to the nucleus of the problem is, look, I'm telling you, what's at the nucleus, what's at the core of every problem. And man, people will manifest demonically when this is brought out, when you put this on people and challenge them to this. But being like having to look at yourself in any situation that happens. Because look, man, this is just basic. Look, in every situation I've ever seen, any issue that comes up, there is always, it's 50-50. Like that, or to some degree. Let's say it in a better way. There's always something both sides can take and learn from it and grow and develop in humility, no matter what. You see what I'm saying? But even more so, in every situation I've seen, it always had come down to people not being willing to just pause and look at themselves, look within, take a good, hard, honest look into themselves. I had a situation as recently as just yesterday where something was brought up to me, and where, yeah, I did see an error in the other person's conduct, but I also said, you know what? But there's something I got to look at within me too, that I'm gonna have to take time to assess so I could grow and develop, because I'm not completely innocent in this situation. And at the end of the day, no one is, because all have fallen short of the glory of Yah, and our righteousness is as filthy rags. So yeah, where are you looking for your keys?
No, trying to make sure I have everything on.
Oh, okay. Okay. So all have fallen short. So there's always, and when you're able to have that meek, humble mindset, you're not gonna go after people super aggressive like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to go after anybody and point the finger hardcore at them. When you're able to introspect, and when you have some type of true relationship with yourself and the Most High, because some people have a relationship with the Most High, but they don't have a relationship with themselves. They have no idea the mechanisms operating in themselves. I have seen it on display. I'm telling you, this is the granular stuff that, look, I'm not throwing, I ain't doing the shotgun approach. I ain't doing the sniper rifle approach. I'm doing the hand grenade. I'm pulling the pin and throwing the hand grenade. I get it. Because this ain't directed at nobody. This cuts everybody across the board. You know? And like I said, the word calls us to be, righteous and set apart. And talks big. It says the meek shall inherit the earth. Like, these things should really be dug in. What does meekness look like? What does it look like to be lowly? What does humility look like? Read about Moses. Go out, look at some examples of people who are truly meek and humble and lowly. Okay, these are the words that are used. You know what I'm saying? That people need to get familiar with, because we live in a prideful generation, and in a prideful. Yeah, I'm good. I just it's right here. I'm looking for my wall. Yeah, we live in a prideful society, in an arrogant society, and it's justified and encouraged. If you wanna uh, you know, and I'm gonna show you some examples of people who are not um, that exemplify just kind of air. They come off. I'm not saying they are, but they exude prideful behavior. You know what I'm saying? And they exude. They carry themselves in a way, and this is when you observe what they're putting out, like how they conduct themselves. Um, I'm just keep 100. Donald Trump, Andrew Tate. That's an example of that. They come off arrogant and prideful in the way they carry themselves. Now, I I follow Andrew Tate. Now I've seen stuff with behind the scenes because all that's an act, the way he does that. But behind the scenes, and he does that to kind of get a rise out of people. But it's not a good look because people try to mimic that type of behavior. But behind the scenes, he's actually quite meek and humble. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen people talk about him and seen him behind the scenes, all that stuff like that. But now I don't know him, so I can't say it. This is the way he is, but that's what he exudes. And he's actually said, because people have asked him, and he's actually said, no, that's an act. He said, I do that on purpose because it gets more attention. You know what I'm saying? So it's all done on purpose, but that's what it looks like when you're arrogant and you're prideful, you know. And I don't, a lot of people, I don't think they understand what true meekness and humility looks like. Now, I've seen people who are truly meek and humble and lowly, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you'd be surprised, like, at who they really are, what they've done, what their accomplishments are. But they could care less about putting it in front of you because, again, they're internally focused. When you're internally focused, you don't need to tell people your accomplishments and what you've done and things you do. The reason people do that is they get a dopamine hit off that and a sense of self, and that's how they get peace in their life to a degree. And I'm not gonna get off topic, but you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, and I'm not talking about the fake pride and meekness, because it's easy, even for me, check this out, it's easy for me to come on here and talk a good game and y'all like listening to me on videos and like, oh, Mike is a meek brother, he a humble brother. It's easy to play that role on here. You're just watching a video, you don't know me, but you know people in times of trouble. That's when you're gonna know, you know, when the furnace of affliction is burning hot. That's when you're gonna really know who, when you see how they react to conflict or whatever you want to call it, the troubled times and stuff like that. That's how you're gonna know who the meek people are and everything like that. You'll see their response to situations like that. I hope I'm not rambling too much, but I hope I'm getting to the driving a serious point home. And how are you gonna know? Like, what you're gonna compare them to what the word says. I gotta look at my video because I kind of feel like I did a video hitting on some of this stuff, but I'm not sure whether it's on meekness and humility or anger and strife. But I'll probably be doing a video, it might be the video I do tomorrow, we'll see, on this, really breaking this stuff down, what these words mean. Because this is how y'all desires us to move. You know what I'm saying? So, and not just, hey, this is how y'all desire us to move, so this is what we're gonna do, but uh this is how communities work. This is how it works when you come together with a team or whatever. This is how a team functions well, when everybody puts the team first. Like that saying I said in the beginning, you have to respect the principles and the values of the team. That's what that coach said. You got to put the team first. You got to love your brothers, you love yourself. You know what I'm saying? You saw how Christ moved and operated. All right, James chapter 1, verse 22. Sorry, verse 20. We're going to just read that one verse. But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. You can deceive yourself. Like, you could be knowledgeable in this book through and through and deceive yourself and not really be doing this book. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very good verse to keep in mind, that, you know, and it's warning you that you can be deceived. Anyway, y'all, I'm Michael Israel. You watch Spiritual Combat. Hope you enjoyed this. And with that said,